Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation. Know yourself, the two are interchangeable. And this today is a little bit of a surprise video. Obviously, I've got my Thursday fry up tomorrow, and I'll be taking your questions and stuff like that. Today's date is the 19th of February 2025, and it is 8:38 p.m. UK time, just starting now. Why am I doing this video? Everything is rapidly changing. Everything. As you guys know, I've been talking about the Great Awakening, which I'm now actually going to be calling the Great / Rude Awakening, because this is really what it's also proving to be. And I knew things like this would come to pass. But the thing that has surprised me is the speed. Yeah, the speed. What is happening in days and weeks I thought would be happening over a period of maybe about 18 months. Yeah. That was, you know, I can't even find words. See, I'm struggling to even find words to describe what is happening. The Great Awakening is happening on the 29th of March, 2025, as you heard me say before. But as you've also heard me say, I said the energy builds. Yeah. Do you remember I said it builds up? And then when the 29th comes, it doesn't mean the situation is over. It just means that that energy has kind of arrived. Yeah, it's like you remember in the old films, those old Hollywood movies where you got the guy that would strike the gong. That that is what it's like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to just show you where things are right now vis-a-vis the the situation, the negotiations that's happening at the moment between the Trump regime, because that's what I'm calling it, it's a regime, the Trump regime and Putin, yeah, which of course is the Putin regime, which of course does not involve Ukraine. I mean, how ridiculous is that? And does not involve Europe. Yeah. And Europe, of course, have had emergency talks in Paris. I think was it today or yesterday? Something like that, to basically kind of discuss this unprecedented situation. So I'm just going to show you an article, just something on the web that I've seen that's come up from Sky News UK. And we're just going to scroll through it just to establish those points. And then I'm going to share my screen with you. And then I'm going to be sharing, in light of what has happened recently, how I see the further manifestations of this alignment going forward. Yeah, because each day is providing more and more detail, and even some of the things that I was seeing, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh no, Hoagie, maybe that's a bit too much. Wait and see, wait and see, free will, etc. Let's see how things pan out." And the way I'm seeing things pan out, I'm just like, oh my goodness. And of course, I have many of my sources in America, many of my clients are giving me their personal feedback and intel on what is going on, particularly with this Trump regime. So let me just click here. I'm just going to present, and let's do share screen. And I'm just going to just share this. This should come up straight away. Oh my God, it's so nice having a new computer. So you guys should be able to see this. Sorry about the advertising, but this is like MSN, whatever. Um, anyway, look here. We look down here, and then hopefully I can get rid of this bloody ad. Anyway, never mind. So Trump hits back at terrible Zelenskyy and calls him a dictator amid US-Russian talks. I mean, like, I mean, like this is truly shocking. Yeah. In the rest of the world, I'm sure you guys would know anyway, but for those that don't, we are shocked by what we are seeing. Anyway, Donald Trump has said Vladimir Zelenskyy better move fast or he is not going to have a country left as peace talks between the US and Russia continue without Ukraine at the table. So imagine This is a peace negotiation, and the country that's been attacked and invaded is not at the table. I mean, like, this is just astonishing. This is just astonishing. Officials from the White House and the Kremlin have this week begun holding discussions in Saudi Arabia. The decision for the talks to take place without representatives from Kiev and Europe has caused concern. That's an understatement. This is causing outrage, panic, and sparked an emergency meeting of European leaders in France earlier this week. So this is when they met in Paris. So maybe it was earlier this week. Mr. Trump's latest comments, in which he also calls Mr. Zelenskyy a dictator without elections, came after the Ukrainian president accused him of living in a Russian-made disinformation space as a result of his administration's discussions with Kremlin officials. Yeah. So here we can see some of the devastations here. Residents stand at the site of Odessa clinic hit by the strike. Yeah. So of course, Russia is still striking. In a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, the US president said Mr. Zelenskyy had talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won and never had to start. Yeah. The only thing that was good was he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle, he added. Mr. Trump continues, Zelenskyy better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. And in the meantime, we are successfully negotiating the end of war with Russia, something all admit only Trump, yeah, and Trump administration can do, yeah. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelenskyy probably wants to keep the gravy train growing, yeah. And he says, "I love Ukraine, but Zelensky's done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died." And so it continues. He wrote. So top-end estimates suggest hundreds of thousands of people, most of them soldiers, have died in Russia and Ukraine conflict, which of course is correct because they're the ones doing the fighting. And millions of Ukrainians have fled their country as refugees. And yes, and the majority are in Poland and the surrounding states, nations. I don't think Hungary took in many, surprise, surprise. And of course, we took a lot of refugees as well from Ukraine in the UK. Mr. Trump also repeated his claim that the Ukrainian president has low approval ratings, which has already been dismissed by Zelenskyy as Russian disinformation, and claimed American aid money had been misused. The latest poll carried out by the Kiev International Institute of Sociology in early February found 57% of Ukrainians trust their leader. Not super high, I must confess, for a wartime situation, but it's well above 50. And Ukraine's general election scheduled for April 2024 was delayed because of Russia's invasion in February 2022. And then Mr. Trump's latest post comes after Vladimir Putin insisted Kiev could have Mr. Trump's latest post comes after Vladimir Putin insisted Kiev could have a seat at the negotiating table. So even Putin wants this. The Russian president said earlier on Wednesday, no one is excluding Ukraine from peace talks. We are ready. I have already said this 100 times. If they want, please let these negotiations take place and we'll be ready to return to the table, he said. Right. So let's just leave it there. So hopefully that should have clicked up and shown, and I'm going to watch the playback of this video to make sure that played back. So not even Putin, who is the aggressor, is calling Zelenskyy names, and even Putin is saying he wants Ukraine to be at the negotiating table. Like what the you-know-what? Like what? WTF. Yeah. And as you guys will know, I've been talking about the star Algol, yeah, Algol, which sits at 1 degree and 10 minutes of sidereal Taurus. And I said Uranus would pass across this star 3 times. Yeah, we're getting ready for the 3rd time to come up. will pass across this star. And this is a binary star, which means so it's two stars essentially circling around each other. Yeah, they've not clashed together. You know, one eclipses the other, but there's two stars there. And this is known as the demon star. This is known as the star of Medusa. This is known as the Gorgon. Yeah, it is famous for betrayal. This is the star of betrayal. And basically, Uranus has been going backwards and forwards across this star for quite some time now. It started in the summer of 2024. Yeah. And like I said, as I've said in other videos, it kicked off with basically once that debate started between Biden and Trump, Uranus was moving over that star. Biden had to step down. Of course, he would have felt a sense of betrayal about that. And of course, there's all the ins and outs of that and what happened, etc. Trump almost got assassinated, yeah, and then Uranus went to 3 degrees, came back, yeah. So in fact, what I'll do is, let's just do share screen, because as I'm saying this, I should. Here we go. Because as I'm doing this, as I'm explaining these things, I should show you this stuff here. All right, so you should be able to see this this chart here. Let me just move this a little bit, just so I can see myself, because make sure it's all recording. Here we go. And this is my Carla software here. Let's just move this down a little bit like this. All right. So if we look here, this is the 29th of March, 2025. Yeah, the great/rude awakening that I've been talking about. You will see here that Uranus is at 0 degrees 27 minutes. So it's very, very close to that star. It's basically, it's within 1 degree orb. Now remember, this star sits at 1 degrees and 10 minutes of sidereal Taurus. And as you guys know, I'm a sidereal astrologer. Yeah, which means sidereal means to follow the stars. Yeah, because the stars are moving backwards by 1 degree every 71/72 years. Yeah, and it's slowly moving back. Anyway, so the point is, right now where it says TR, that means transits. This is where Uranus is right now, and you can see Uranus is now going direct. Before it had the retrograde. And a close conjunction with a star is basically 3 degrees or less. Anything 3 degrees or less is pretty much a bullseye. When it's exactly on, of course, it's exactly on, but 1 to 2 degrees either side, that is a strong hit. So that means since the summer of 2024, around the debates, yeah, when it was Biden still running against Trump, Uranus has been in that ballpark of Algol. Uranus is the planet of what? Sudden shocks and surprises, upheavals, revolution, mavericks, eccentrics, yeah, the mad professor, the anarchist, yeah. There is a lot of anarchist energy in Uranus. The positives deal with things like visionaries, yeah, visionaries, people that see the future, incredible inventions, technology, etc. But technology, he's also a planet of AI as well. Yeah, imagine, look where we're going with that. Yeah, look where we're going with that. So this is the backdrop. So here, on the 29th, we see Uranus is back, but he has crossed backwards and forwards over. Just imagine that the star is here. He's crossed over backwards and forwards across this star. Now, if we go down here, TR, this is where the planets are right now, as I said before, and he's now going direct. So you see at the moment today at 8:52 p.m. UK time, Uranus is at 29 degrees 14 minutes of sidereal Aries, still technically conjunct that star, even though it's at 1 degree the other sign, it's still conjunct. And then it's going to cross over into Aries, and it's going to become even more intense. So if I go here to animated transits, and then let's see here, and I will be able to show you when Uranus will actually physically cross back over into Aries. So let's do, well, we don't have that long. Let's do a week and see, click forward a week. There we are. Let's click forward another week. And you can see the planets moving, and you see slowly the degrees are going up, because remember, Uranus is quite a slow moving planet. It takes him 84 years to go around the sun. And then, so here we are. Now we're getting very close. All right, let's come back a bit daily. There we go. All right. Oops. So here we see that technically Uranus is going to enter sidereal Aries on the 18th of March 2025. Yeah, 18th of March 2025. So then it's going to be in the same sign as Algol. Yeah, so the energy will ramp up. And then, of course, a matter of, what's that, 10, 11 days later, that's when this, you see here, this alignment that is building, and Saturn will join that great awakening. So that's why I said the energy builds. Yeah. So let's go back to main screen. And this is, we're going to focus here on this chart now. So this kind of a configuration that we see here is very rare. Yeah. You often can have pileups of planets in one sign. That's not too unusual. But to have 7 planets plus Chiron, because I count Chiron, this is a configuration of 8. And what makes this configuration more rare is that Neptune is part of it. Neptune, yeah? And the reason why is because the last time Neptune was in sidereal Pisces was about 164 years ago. That's how long Neptune takes to go around the sun. So you can imagine, for Neptune to be part of this, that already makes this alignment all the more rare. It is possibly hundreds, maybe even thousands of years since we have seen an alignment like this. Yeah, because it's also an eclipse, because Rahu is here as well. And I've been watching this, and I've been looking at the potential for things, and I've been mulling it over. And I've not been wanting to be hyperbolic. Yeah, I've not wanted to over egg things, because of course there's free will. Yeah, there's free will. People may not, people might choose a different path. Yeah. However, as the days and weeks have gone by, particularly in these few short weeks, what's the day? Like, look, tomorrow it will be a month. Can you believe it? Tomorrow it will be a month since Trump was inaugurated. It may as well be a year. Yeah. So we are, at the time of this recording, we are still not yet 1 month from the inauguration, and look at what has happened. So this is extraordinary pace, again, with this energy here of Uranus conjunct that star Algol of betrayal. And if we think about it, we're seeing themes of betrayal absolutely everywhere, aren't we? There is the betrayal of, so I said it will cross 3 times. So the first time, like I said, Biden versus Trump around the debate, Algol passed over, but especially when the assassination against Trump happened, which was in July, wasn't it? 7th July, something like that. July 2024. Then Uranus started to go retrograde. So it went across once and then came back. When it crossed back over Algol, the demon star of betrayal, that was on the 5th and 6th of November, when it was exactly conjunct 2024, and we all know what was happening then. That was the elections. Look at the betrayal that has played out on several fronts. First of all, there is the betrayal of those that voted for Duck Larange again. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and I don't even want to just. I don't even want to go into the details of it because obviously people. Always, you never know who's watching. There's, all sorts of people watch, but that's what it was. That's really what it was, because it's not only is it a betrayal of America, it's a betrayal of themselves, which they're now starting to. There are still some people that are obviously still in the fog, but not for much longer. Yeah, not for much longer. There is already a lot of shame, regret, sadness, um, by a lot of people that voted for Trump. The internet is, TikTok. I don't watch that much TikTok, but I've seen on YouTube they're showing the TikTok clips, YouTube clips, Trump voters all, regretting. Not all of them, not yet, but it's happening now. And I've got a lot of American clients, as you guys know, and they are telling me about their experiences with their friends and family who voted for Duck Larange. And now they're getting slapped in the face with the reality because of all of these cuts and all of the mad stuff that he's been doing. Yeah. And Saturn here, that is currently here, GC, is at 25 degrees, 23 minutes of sidereal Aquarius as we speak. But on the 29th, he moves in to Pisces. And as you guys know, I refer to Saturn as balloon popper. Yeah. Pop, 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 pop. Pisces is a sign. It's a wonderful sign. It can be very empathic, talented, musical, spiritual, wants to heal. But the shadow of Pisces is illusions, delusions, victims, endings, destitution, stuff like that. I don't want to scare people too much, but it's just like, so what I am hearing, what literally, because I talk with my American clients, and they tell me I'm getting first-hand experiences being relayed to me of what is happening. And now a lot of those people that voted for Trump who've got they need Medicaid, Medicare, Medicaid, this thing, that thing, and then they're realizing that it's been cut. And I won't say names, but a very close personal contact of mine has revealed what has happened to a couple of her friends where they need crucial medication to basically stay alive. And that medication has just been absolutely hiked through the roof, stratospherically increased in price from like some type of inhaler or something. It's from like, I think they said 35, or it's like an inhaler that's $35. And then next month, or is it, yeah, I think it's next month, it's going to go up to $800+. And that was actually another friend of theirs who's got issues with lung cancer and stuff like that. Can you imagine? You've gone from spending $35 for an inhaler that basically preserves your life, and then next month it's going to be over $800. Like, wow. Yeah. So Saturn is the planet of reality, but is also the planet of government for the whole world, because of course this is happening everywhere. And this increasingly, to me, this great awakening / rude awakening is really beginning to manifest very clearly. And remember as well this theme of betrayal. So if we think of the most obvious one, Canada, yeah, Canadians feel betrayed by Duck Larange's regime. And also as well, I mean, I hope it doesn't upset people as well. Now, of course, anyone, look, the majority of people that watch my channel and channels like mine didn't vote for Duck L'Orange. Yeah, so I'm not talking about you guys, but at the end of the day, Canadians are saying they feel betrayed by America. It's not your fault if you didn't vote for this, but a lot of Americans did, and we know that they would, the fiddly, which hasn't even. Look, no one's denying that Elon bought the election. Yeah, no one's entirely sure in which ways, but a lot of people have been disenfranchised, redistricting, etc., particularly in the red states. Those all the dark arts and tools have been used. No one is debating that. Yeah, we can all agree on that. That Elon bought the election and it's had huge consequences. But the point is, a lot of people still voted for Duck L'Orange. Yeah, 70 plus million. A lot of people also stayed at home. About 36 million is what I've been hearing. 35, 36 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, put in the comments. But this is what I'm hearing. And then of course the rest voted for Kamala. And in the end, when you actually look at the number, the loss was what, 1.4%, they're saying. So, and this is why Duck L'Orange was complaining still about the results, because he wanted it to be absolutely emphatic. And in fact, it was actually one of the smallest wins, even though, of course, the Electoral College, which of course is obsolete and just ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. Saturn, yeah, here in sidereal Aquarius will move into Pisces. Saturn is rules and regulations. Saturn represents the government. Saturn is protocols, the way of doing things. Yeah, he's the guardrails. Yeah, think of all those rings of Saturn, all those beautiful rings of Saturn. So he is the planet of restrictions, duties, responsibilities, hard work, discipline, service. You've heard me say time and time again, Saturn is the government, but it's not just that, he's the civil service as well. Anyone that works for the government in that service capacity, if they're not the CEO and they're the ordinary staff members doing their work, they are Saturn. The sun is the president, the king, queen, CEOs, yeah? Or moon is queen, but do you know what I mean? The sun represents the executive, yeah? The CEOs, the bosses. Saturn is the one doing the work. Look what's been happening. All these people getting laid off, and this is because Saturn is now less than 5 degrees away from Pisces, so the energy of Pisces is already starting to come in. Pisces is about things dissolving. Everyone knows this. This is the dissolving sign, but what makes it more potent is that Neptune is there. Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces. Neptune is the god of the sea. And I always say, wherever Neptune is in a person's chart, that's where the salt water is. Salt water corrodes and dissolves many, many things. This is why you see things with like bridges and stuff like that, or anything that's in salt water. You will notice anything that passes through a bridge through salt water, that iron and that metal is not in it. It just gets corroded. You have to use concrete. Yeah, something that doesn't get corroded, and even then, things have to be checked and replaced. Yeah, so Pisces is a dissolving sign. Neptune is a dissolving planet. Pisces is not about rules and regulations. It's about dreams, it's about fantasies, it's about spirituality. So look, the spirituality of the world, and Americans in particular, is going to go up, yeah, by a lot. But is that spirituality going to be induced because people are having so many losses? Is this how it comes? Because this seems to be the case, because my sources are telling me that the people that voted for this, now that they're losing stuff, they're like, yeah, going into panic attacks. Think of all the bit that Pisces can also deal with victims and refugees. Think of all the food stamps that they're cutting. So Saturn comes in, but we need to talk about Rahu. What is Rahu? Rahu is the north node of the moon, the direction in life that we're supposed to go in. Yeah, ideally. K2 is the south node of the moon. Yeah. K2 is the body of the dragon without the head. Rahu is the head of the dragon without the body. Now, Rahu will always bring us something new, exotic. Yeah, these are his virtues. Foreign lands, exotic people, beautiful people, actually. Rahu can deal with people that have an exotic and unusual look, irrespective of their ethnic background. There's something exotic about them. Can produce a lot of charisma as well. Rahu has his virtues, but the nodes of the moon are malefic. And the shadow of Rahu is liars, tricksters, hucksters, criminals, all sorts of things to do with deception, adulteration. Rahu also deals with food, yeah? He likes to eat, yeah? But he's insatiable because whenever he eats, the food falls out of the body. So it can also deal with insatiable appetites or people that are insatiable in general. Yeah. See how this is kind of like working? And Saturn will be blending his energies with Rahu. And Saturn is the government. So this is talking about what? Shucksters, liars, charlatans in the government. But then these things dissolving. So do those people get dissolved? Or is it the case that the shucksters, the fraudsters in the government, because remember they're saying they're looking for fraud, but we know that they're lying because they've actually just pilfered everyone's national insurance. So what does this mean? Does this mean that the government is breaking down and the rules and regulations are breaking down? Or does it mean that those that are fraudsters and liars are going to get a reality check? Yeah, with Saturn coming in, we'll have to see. I think it's still a 50-50 toss-up, to be honest. Yeah. If we look here, Rahu and Venus actually are friends. They like each other. But you see here, Venus is retrograde. She's not retrograde yet, but she will be definitely by the time on the 29th. Venus deals with money, asset classes of all kinds, the comforts of life. She is the wine, the cheese, the comfy sofa, the restaurant. When you go and get a massage, that's Venus. Yeah? The server that serves you, anyone that provides you with a service, Venus. Venus is also known as the nurse of the zodiac, believe it or not. She's also known as the nurse of the zodiac. So this is also going to speak about nursing and care in general. She's the planet of love. Yeah. Venus in her best state is very caring, very compassionate. And she is technically exalted in the sign of Pisces. However, she's exalted in Revati Nakshatra, which is at around about, that starts from 16 degrees 20 minutes, isn't it? Yes, I think it's 16 degrees 20 minutes of sidereal Pisces. Venus is going to be going retrograde in Purva Bhadrapada, which is often referred to the backlegs of the funeral cot. I kid you not. I know that's scary, but that's what it's known as. Yeah, because Pisces is where we leave. Yeah, Pisces is the spiritual maturation in a way of the soul, where we exit stage left. Yeah, that's what Pisces is known for. Wonderful sign as well. Film, movies, some extraordinary breakthroughs and stuff like that in Hollywood and what have you. But has that connotation. So Venus is retrograde. Whenever a planet is retrograde, it means review, revise, reassess. Whatever that planet stands for has to be reviewed and revised. So there's going to be a revision of care, nursing, things like that, the comforts of life. Many people might be losing the comforts of their life, and I think a lot of them are MAGA voters, because they're doing, they're going to be cutting, they say they want to cut 850 billion from Medicaid, and now they're looking at a social security. So not touched it yet, but that's money, comfort, the support, this with social security, this is people money have People have earned this. People have paid into this their whole life, their whole working life. It shouldn't really be called a benefit, really, because they've earned it. Anyway, and Venus is here with Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Neptune dissolves the boundaries between the three-dimensional world and the realms beyond, but it also deals with fantasies, dreams, in the positive film industry, photography, special effects, and stuff like that. But the shadow of Neptune is gaslighting, yeah, making the unreal appear real. That's what I always say to my clients. Wherever Neptune is, there is a potential for illusion and delusion, depending, of course, on the development of the person and the nature of the chart. But it deals with gaslighting, the unreal made to appear real. Look at all of, so if we think of the energy of Rahu with the shucksters, liars, and cheats, yeah, Neptune deals with things like Instagram. Yeah, when Neptune was in sidereal Aquarius, which deals with technology and stuff like that. And remember, Neptune deals with film, photography, images, and that's when Instagram and all of that stuff, a lot of that social media stuff happened while Neptune was in sidereal Aquarius. Neptune spends 14 years in one sign. So think what's happened over the last 14 years. Yeah. Now he's in Pisces. So now it's his energy, or that energy of illusion and delusion, if people want to tap into that, can be on steroids. Look at what's happening now on X, where, Elon is just making all sorts of stuff up. Yeah. So the illusions and delusions, the spells that people are under, are even more profound, because there is still a lot of people that are applauding what Elon is doing, even though he's rifled, he and his goons have rifled through people's national insurance numbers, their bank details. Think about it. Could this ever happen in China? Do you think that Elon Musk could ever go to the purse strings of China and get his people out there and rummage through the details of Chinese citizens? We all know the answer to that. He'll be warned once, he'll try and barge through with his big self, and what will happen is he'll be shot dead, and then the corpse would be put on trial. Yeah. This kind of stuff, what is happening, is not tolerated in other countries. This is just beyond. This is absolutely beyond. And again, it's part of that dissolving, yeah, that dissolving of the guardrails. Saturn is the guardrails, the rules, regulations, the protocols. Government, yeah, does that. And then the media are just sort of like, independent media. Yes, us YouTubers, we're calling these things what it is. It's a coup. Some little snippets here and there, but there's all this normalization. Again, that shadow of Neptune, the gaslighting. Look at the gaslighting going on, especially with Foxtrot. The gaslighting is just unbelievable. So you still have these people believing this douchebaggery, but you know what? Guess what? When Saturn comes in, the planet of reality is going to be pop, 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 pop. All of that BS that is being spouted on effectively state propaganda, because people are just going to be looking at their bank accounts. We all know that the price of eggs and all of that kind of stuff hasn't gone down. It's all zoomed up. So you've got because then you've got the tariffs kicking in. Canada's, I should be sounding more optimistic, shouldn't I? But I have to read the energy, like what this means, because we're all having our illusions destroyed in a way, aren't we? Because Europe has now had a slap in the face, because Europe now realizes that it's on its own. Yeah. Because of that, that woeful speech from Chucky. Yeah, we all know who that is. Vance, Chucky Vance stood up there and insulted all of Europe, lecturing them about democracy as he puts democracy through the wood chipper back at home. Yeah. So that was a rude awakening. Yeah, part of the Great Awakening, where Europe is like, wow, we're on our own. Canada has obviously faced it. They're like, oh my God, they've swallowed the medicine and they are acting, and it's going to have big consequences. UK, we need to get real as well. I mean, we are, but as you know, we keep the stiff upper lip. In the UK, we keep the stiff upper lip. But trust me, UK media, we're having big conversations about this because we're like, wow. So, that special relationship, which I've always felt was just a little bit disingenuous in more recent years. Certainly not the case now. Certainly not the case now, because Trump has sided with Putin. It's remarkable. And it says Zelenskyy needs to be there. You saw for yourself, didn't I? When I shared the article. It's just mind bending, isn't it? Mind bending. So the gaslighting, the deceptions, the illusions and delusions. Neptune is also drug use. It can be alcohol. It can be psychedelics, which aren't always necessarily, depends on the dose. And obviously people go there for shamanic stuff and what have you. But what a lot of people, and Neptune is also gases and liquids of all kinds. So he also deals with liquefied gas. He also deals with petroleum. Very interesting, because Canada is going to be providing a lot more liquefied gas to the world, and Europe is actually signing big contracts with Canada now at America's expense. But Neptune is also pharmaceuticals. A lot of people don't know this. Neptune is pharmaceuticals. So we're going to see, well, it's already happening, isn't it? Under the last administration, Biden's administration, insulin was capped, $35. Yeah, it's liquid. Now it's just going to be whatever it is. I don't know, 400 or something. It's ridiculous. So we're seeing that. Now here, if we look, we've got Mercury retrograde. Let me just see how I'm doing on time. 40 minutes. Okay, let me just try and round this up. I don't want it to be too long. Anyway, Mercury. Yeah, Mercury deals with media, speech, communications of all kinds. It's retrograde. Also deals with currency, literally. Venus is money, but Mercury is also currency. His color is green. Yeah, so when you think of what? The dollar, think of the greenback. Yeah, literally one of the incarnations of Mercury is fiat currency. Yeah, currencies. Retrograde. Yeah, which means what? Review, revise, reassess. They're talking about things in the economy now as well. Obviously, all these tariffs, that can't help. And we know how difficult a Mercury retrograde can be. You've seen for myself, hopefully with my new computer, I'll be less affected, but I'm quite a mercurial person. My moon is in Gemini. And I've got quite key Mercury nakshatras activated in my chart. Anyway, so he's also going to be retrograde. Then you've got the sun, then you've got the moon. Sun is leaders, CEOs, yeah? The boss, yeah? The president, quite literally, vice president, anyone who's very elevated and senior. And here's the moon, and the moon is the public. The moon deals with the public, and this is going to be a partial eclipse. And this is why I said that, Trump is in danger, Elon is in danger. I would even say JD Vance is in danger. Senior leadership around the world, it's always tricky around eclipses anyway, but particularly for America, because America has a Sagittarius rising, and this is all happening in the fourth house, the homeland, real estate, security. Yeah, look what's been happening in the homeland security. Literally, everything is all being slashed and burned. So there could be a kind of a, let's just say, there could be another Luigi event. Could be another Luigi event, and it wouldn't shock me at all, because people are going to be really going to be suffering. And when the penny drops, especially for all of the ones that the penny has dropped, they are crippled by shame at the moment. A lot of them, yeah, they may not even be able to function, yeah, because as it begins to descend more and more, and with my source in America telling me, with their friends who voted for Duc Larange and are now going through this incredible crisis because they can't get their meds anymore. Yeah, and from next month they're going to become extortionately priced. One needs an operation, won't be touched by the doctors. Yeah, not naming names or whatever. I know who these people are. I'll keep their, I'll keep their privacy there. But this is the sort of thing that is going on. So imagine a few weeks from now when everyone starts joining the dots and just being like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're not getting the tourism in. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, these 25% tariffs. Oh, cars, on aluminium and steel. I mean, that's what you make cars with. That's what you make buildings with. You need the aluminium is what moves all the electricity around and all of that kind of stuff. And this is before Canada even does its targeted tariffs. And the sad thing is, like, Canada was a great ally and a great friend, but I'm starting to think, wow, they are not a good enemy to have because they are diligent, astute, organized, and united. They say they are going to be surgical. Canada might be ruthless. We might see that. Yeah, that will be another illusion that's popped, maybe on the American side. Because, people might, like, for example, if things get really bad, the logical thing I'm thinking is that Americans are going to want to go to Canada. And I think Canada's going to be like, no, we have a wall. Sorry. Put all things, not, I mean, obviously it's one of the longest land borders, on Earth. But, not everyone is going to be, you can't drive across all of that. A lot of that is mountains. Yeah. There will be key places. And then the other only way in is to fly. And Canadians are boycotting American Airlines already. So for them just to say no. And then finally here, and of course the moon is there involved, which is the public. But here we've got Chiron. Chiron is known as what? The wounded healer. Yeah. So he deals literally with health. Wherever Chiron is in a D1 chart, always say that is where we can potentially receive a wound in life. Could be mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, or financial. Sometimes all of those things. In this case, I think it might be all of those things. So there is a wound, a deep wound. Particularly, now this is happening all over the world. This is happening on all our charts. So I just want you to know, for countries, it will be having a different effect. On a personal level, it will have a different effect. It's more like a renaissance, yeah? Especially for those that are, so yeah, let's talk some positives. So those that are spiritually developed or developing, those who are engaged and aware, and those that are at the higher vibrations, this is also a renaissance. Yeah, because remember, one thing is never 100% bad, 100% good. Yeah, it all depends on the levels. So those that are already spiritually mature, taking responsibility, doing their spiritual work, helping others, not being, selfish and ignorant and stupid, basically. This is also a renaissance. It's an opportunity. And for each ascendant, of course, it varies. And please go back and look at my videos where I've done the ascendants. I think on my, I think I did it for where the Great Awakening is happening, maybe back in November, December 2024, trying to remember now. So for those that are spiritually inclined, this is a renaissance. This can be an adventure. And as I've said before, I said many, because in the inauguration chart, which has an Aries ascendant, I said this is all happening in the 12th house, and I'll refer to the 12th house of that chart as the land of far, far away. And I said many Americans will be traveling for the first time. Yeah. And I think this is, if we just join the dots on what is going on, starts to make a lot more sense, doesn't it? But I don't think they're going to be, I don't think Canada is going to be that willing. Yeah, you might have to try Mexico. And I said Mexico one day might build a wall. Yeah. So, but for those that are doing their spiritual work, are aware of the world, um, spiritually mature, understand that we're all connected, yeah, which is what the Pisces energy is about. For these people, this is a renaissance and a chance to make big changes, either by choice or you just might simply have to, because everything is just so accelerated. We'll have to see how this manifests. But Saturn always will bring reality to things. So the dreams and the illusions that people have been in collectively will be broken and shattered. It's already happening, but I think this is when, particularly Trump voters really, really get it. What's happening? What has been done? Because this is happening in the homeland. People's security, people's foundations, real estate, roof over their head. Yeah. But it's also, as I've described, a wake up call for the rest of the world as well. Here is Mars in Gemini, not his favorite place to be, can be a bit bombastic. And the rhetoric can be a bit over the top and inflated. Of course, we already see the issues with the media, who still aren't quite telling the full undiluted truth, but they will. Yeah, they will, because they're going to be review, revise, reassess. Yeah, who knows? I mean, we'll have to see what happens with Fox, but even Foxtrot is going to struggle to keep denying this as it all plays out. And then Uranus is on that star Algol for the last time. And when it does eventually move off, when it gets to maybe 5-6 degrees, the energy should have lifted by that point. Uranus won't be on the star Algol for another 84 years, but who knows what can be happening, by that point. So it's not the easiest message to listen to, but I think it had to be described. But also, as well, for those that are on their spiritual path and growth and development, this is also an opportunity for renaissance, transformation, to do something new, to think outside of the box, again, depending on your ascendant. So if you're Aries ascendant, this is happening in your 12th house. If you're Taurus, it's happening in your 11th, yeah, which deals with friends, family, associations, great gains. If you're Gemini, this is happening in your 10th house, yeah. If so, again, transformations in terms of career and stuff like that. Muskie, Gemini rising, yeah, we've seen the transformations he's had. If you are Cancer, it's in the 9th house, travel, education. For me, I'm Cancer ascendant. Time for me to start writing some more books, isn't it? And teaching, people stuff, courses, all of this stuff. For Leos, it's 8th house. Duck Larange is getting all of this in his 8th house, yeah, which is the house of scandal, betrayals, death, transformation. Yeah, he's done one of the biggest grifts in history. It's also other people's money. It is 8th house is also a house of betrayal. Obviously selling out Ukraine. For the Virgos, this is happening in the 7th house, so big transformations for maybe for their partners or their business. Yeah, I'm being really, really quick here. For Libras, this is happening in the 6th house. Yeah, so this is health and healing, overcoming obstacles. There could be a lot of Libras that are, getting messages about things to do with health or even changing their routines. For the Scorpios, it's happening in the 5th house. So that deals with creativity, children. Yeah, our brain babies, giving consultation advice to others. Could be a renaissance there for Scorpios, thinking outside the box. Of Sagittarius, which of course is the United States, happening in the 4th house, the heart chakra, real estate, sense of security, mother, yeah, seat of power. For Capricorns, this is happening in the 3rd house, which deals with skills, yeah, skills, learning new languages, travel, etc. For Aquarius, of course, this is happening in the 2nd house, which deals with money, finances, asset classes of all kinds, dental work, the eyes, all of this stuff. Let's say I'm doing on time. And then here for Pisces, this is all happening in the 1st house, in the body. Yeah. So this could be where Pisceans, if they've not been very spiritual or been in delusional in some kind of way, they might be having some of the biggest shocks of all. The biggest transformations, yeah, Pisces rising, biggest transformations. If they're very spiritual already, it could just go to the next level of spirituality and intuition, etc. But if they've been in delusions and illusions, Saturn's going to come in and just pop those. So I think there's a lot of that as well. Yeah, because obviously a lot of people who didn't have their heads screwed on quite right for Duck Larange, for various reasons, but his faults are well known. Yeah, no one can say, "Oh, I didn't know." No, 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 no. You need to take responsibility. Yeah, but it's all playing out now. So I know not necessarily the most joyful message, but I have to describe the energy so we understand what's going on, especially as it's becoming more and more into focus. But just to repeat again, for those that are doing their spiritual work, have compassion, that care about others, are aware about others, are aware about the world and what is going on. Their skills will be going up to the next level, and this will be a potential renaissance for them as well, but also very transformative for those that have not been doing the work, who have been sitting in ignorance or dark energy, wanting everyone else to suffer, but for them, them to be fine. And, all the leopards, the leopard was not going to bite my face, which it's now chewed off. Well, not fully chewed off, more chewing to come. For those people, this will be an extraordinarily rude awakening, potentially even devastating. Yeah, for those that have chose the darker side, because they're gonna have the concept. And I don't mean in the sense that they're evil, like in the darkness of ignorance. Yeah, which is shattering for a lot of people. And there's some that are, rusted on, but even they, I would say there's only going to be about 10 to 5% of people that are still going to believe in Duck Larange after everything plays out. So I will leave it there because I don't want to go on for too long. Let's do the stop share. Let's minimize that down. How am I doing on time? There we go. I'll leave it there. So obviously I'll give more updates as these things come to pass, everyone, and keep on that positive where we can of that renaissance. Yeah, so if you're a spiritual person, you're a developed person, this can also be a potential renaissance for you. Listen to your dreams, listen to your intuition, collaborate with friends, like-minded people, go on the protests. Yeah, go on the protests, raise your voice, keep hammering and pestering your senators, be they Democrat or Republican, get them to take action. But also as well, you're going to have to take action and rise up on behalf of the Americans that either didn't understand, didn't want to see, didn't get it, or have aligned themselves with shadow. But even they are going to have to wake up, even them, and you still be fighting on behalf of them, irrespective, even though that's the cause of so many of these problems, because it's affecting the world now. Yeah, look how Duck Larange is behaving. Yeah, on the world stage. So we'll see. So definitely raise your voices, collaborate, meet with like-minded people, organize, put pressure, do the best you can to affect the changes that you want to see. And maybe that Saturn going into Pisces, could that be where there might be some accountability there? We'll have to see. Yeah, Elon's stock prices aren't doing so well, but people have to wake up. I'd say it's still 50-50. Yeah. So anyway, I will leave it there. I will leave it there. Thanks so much for joining me. Please don't forget as well to like and subscribe to support my work on this channel. And you'll see me on Thursday, fry up tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye for now.